Hey, so you had the idea of watching the new Rob Zombie film. It was, on demand. So we figured, hey, let's watch this new Rob Zombie film because you were a fan of Lord of Salem,
I
the last
was.
Rob
I
Zombie film,
was.
right? You like that?
And you were a bigger fan of Devil's Rejects.
I do. I like Devil's Rejects a lot. Don't like House of a Thousand Corpses, but I really like Devil's Rejects, and maybe we'll talk about that in October. Maybe. Maybe we'll talk about Devil's Rejects as well. But hey, so 31 came out. We figured instead of like kind of talking about a bunch of other topics because Synergy debate show this week,
Ah, yes.
this Thursday, we figured let's just talk about 31. So we both watched it this weekend, and I just got to say, there's no point for this movie to be made. I don't want to be mean. I'm being honest here. There was 0 point, 0 point to this movie being made.
I can't argue with that. I'm going to be meaner than you are. This movie fucking sucked. This was terrible. This was everything I had said about Rob Zombie. You need a writer. You need a writer was evident here. This was poorly thought out from conception, and the execution wasn't even that good. Rob Zombie can shoot a scene. There's
can.
no doubt about it. But this was dumb.
A scene, not a sequence of scenes. He could
No.
shoot a scene. Like I thought the opening scene. Like I thought the opening scene, dialogue wise, not great. Acting wise, I thought it was well done. The guy that played Doomhead, Richard Brake, I
Yeah.
thought he did well with what was given to him. That opening scene was like I liked it. I liked how it was filmed. I liked how it looked. But as a movie, here's my main issue with the movie is it was not suspenseful enough to be a horror film, and it wasn't gory enough to be torture porn.
Yeah, what was that? I felt like this had to have been edited. This
It
was
must have been, man.
this was not shocking at all.
No.
Man.
I was so surprised at how tame. Let's set the plot up for you. Okay?
Have you seen Running Man?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is essentially Running Man in a murder house. Apparently, every October 31st, 31,
Oh, so clever.
rich people decide, hey, let's round some people up, put them in this murder house with a bunch of killers, and see how long these people can survive for, and then make bets based off of how long they last. So I think it's 1 through 5, right?
Yeah, 1 through 5. And you think that. But they actually don't really tell us what what they're betting on. They're just throwing money on the table. I bet 1 million or 5 million. I'm going to double that, without even saying who the money's going on to.
What the actual bet is.
Right.
What are the odds? Like honestly, like I just don't get it. Like because I see they're betting against each other. But say if someone has 1,000,000 to 1 odds
Which Roscoe does at one
and
point.
the other one has 300 to 1 odds or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Like who's paying the bet? There's no like house. It's Malcolm McDowell who's father murder. Yes. I shit you not. That is his name. He's Father Murder.
I remember when I thought Firefly was kind of a stupid name.
Malcolm McDowell, whose father, he does a good job, though. I think
Oh,
Malcolm
yeah.
McDowell, he was, I mean, you really have to give him absolutely nothing to work with for him to be terrible. Rob Zombie's done it before. But that was a slight dig at Halloween.
There'll be more coming about that soon.
There will be. I'm sure there will. But you have this father murder guy. If he was just the house and you were betting against the house or something, that would make more sense. But it's just him. Like at one point, there's 1,000,000 to 1 odds on Jeff Daniel Phillips, Roscoe
Roscoe.
Pepper,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. I mean, yeah, I mean, the payout, if he actually would have won, would have been like $10 trillion or something ridiculous like that.
Like, is it? I I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler. Right now, coming. Sherry Moon Zombie was 400 to 1 with what? $1 million on her or something like that? What's that, $400 million?
Right. Spoiler off, I guess. There's nothing really to spoil about this film because there's nothing really interesting to spoil. I always feel that when you have to say spoilers, it's because you're trying to preserve something at least that's mildly interesting, and there is nothing mildly interesting in this film at all.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I really am so disappointed because I thought after Halloween 2, when he did Lords of Salem, he was turning a corner. Now, I can't tell you if Lords of Salem is actually good or not. I don't know. But it was engaging, and it was way different than anything he had done. But this seems like a tremendous step backwards. A tremendous step backwards. I feel like this was his Punch Drunk Love. And now he's going to, he's Adam Sandler here. And now he's going to double down on making even worse movies.
Oh man,
I just don't get it.
Kim is saying maybe it's Bitcoin. Maybe that's what they're betting with. I don't.
It's coins of some sort, right?
Maybe it's maybe it's crack cocaine because you need a lot of crack cocaine to like understand like what the hell is going on here. It was just terrible, and yeah, it's about time that Rob Zombie
Gets a writer.
gets a writer.
Yeah.
I agree. Amanda, was it worse than the other crap movies we watched this summer? I mean, I can't put this underneath Amateur Night, but my expectations of Amateur Night were so far below my expectations for this film
Yeah.
that I would say it's almost on par, my disappointment in regards to, I mean, Amateur Night was just an awful movie, start to finish. This was just a mediocre movie, start to finish, but it had the potential to be much better. That's what infuriates me is the fact is that there were some good performances here. Hey, even Sherry Moon Zombie I thought was pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't think she was terrible. I thought Meg Foster. I liked Meg Foster's performance.
I did too. And let's be honest, Meg Foster kicked the most ass in this movie.
Oh my God.
She killed everybody.
She almost seemed like what's her name from Terminator? You know, like
She was, yeah,
Sarah
Meg
Connor,
Foster was
you know,
ripped,
like,
yeah.
she almost seemed like to that capacity. It's from Terminator 2, you know, the Sarah Connor from Terminator 2. Like that's kind of like what she was in this film. And she was very apprehensive of killing. And she became like the best killer of them all. You know?
Was awesome. But and Brake's performance was good. I would actually be interested to see him take a run at the Joker sometime.
I agree, and we actually came to that conclusion separately too, because you had mentioned, and I was like, oh my God, that was in my head. I was thinking the same thing. I would actually like to see him in the next Justice League movie.
Absolutely. Especially what we have now.
Damaged, deranged. I don't even know what the tattoo says anymore. I can't even remember.
Douchey.
Something silly. So, okay, with 31, what does this mean for Rob Zombie now? Like, what are people going to trust him to still make horror films? I mean, is it to the point where it's like, because he's still Rob Zombie, because that's his name, people are going to give him money to make films, even though
I don't know.
Underwhelmed like this?
Yeah, that's a good question. To me, this is rock bottom. I'm not saying there's no coming back from this, but you've got to figure something out. You've got to figure out how to make a better movie than this. I'm curious to see how horror fans react when it hits theaters, in October. Mm-hmm. I'll be really curious because, horror fans are the most forgiving fans.
And I wonder what cut is going to hit theaters, or I wonder, I wonder if there's going to be a director's cut or something, because it really just felt, it felt chopped up.
There's going to be
no way that this was the movie that was intended to be.
Yeah, this There's going to have to be an unrated cut at least when it comes out in Blu-ray.
I don't know, man. I guess the one redeeming factor again is there are some well shot scenes. Like I think at times he has this vision to him where he can. I think because he was a comic book artist, or he fancied himself a comic book artist for a while. I think he can do certain like frames, like key frames in a film, and that stand out and are very memorable. Because I again like that opening scene with Richard Brake as Doomhead, and as he's out of focus and
Right.
is coming into focus, that was terrifying. And it was the only time it was terrifying. Like any only terrifying moment of the film was in the first like 2 minutes of it.
Yeah. I can't. That was the best. That was the highlight of the movie. And I felt like Lords of Salem, he was kind of trying to channel Kubrick. I felt like this time he was kind of trying to channel Tarantino in that opening speech.
Oh yeah.
Did you get to
Oh,
that
big
too?
time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree that it was a watered down version of Kubrick with this character of Richard Brake. Even when he's talking to who is the porn star that he was the one that he was sleeping with,
Ginger Lynn.
Ginger Lynn. Even when he's talking to her about this is business and stuff like that, it's just like it seemed kind of like forced Tarantino-esque type dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, I'm at a loss here, really. I'm at a loss. You're right. The performances are good. He's great at cinematography. I think on a technical level, he's so solid, but just there's no thought. There's no thought in this movie. And don't ape anybody else, Rob. Just do your own stuff, but just bring in a little help.
Yeah, and even from we mentioned the gore factor or lack thereof.
Yeah.
The horror scenes just were not well done. They weren't scary at all, and the villains, if you will, just didn't work for me. The multiple villains, they should have just stuck with Doomhead as the main villain throughout, and really built him up as the big bad. Because by the end of the film, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's bad, but we've seen him for like 6 minutes, and 2 of those minutes was having sex with Ginger Lynn.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. We should have seen him more to establish his badassery, but
Yeah, yeah.
it seemed like, why did you even need him? I mean, they just, it's just, I didn't get the feeling he was a badass. I didn't get the feeling like, oh my God, these people are all dead now.
Right, right.
I just,
I mean, they had guys in there with machine guns and wearing masks. It's like they really wanted them dead. Like I don't know I never understood the rules of 31. Like it never was clear of what the hell is actually happening. Other than the fact that, oh, well, every October 31st, the rich people abduct these people and put them in a murder house with a midget dressed like Hitler.
yeah. From the jump, this movie has no thought to it. These people are traveling in a van. These carnival people. Where the fuck is their tent? Where's their equipment? In this van? I don't think so.
Well, they had the ape mask.
Yeah.
That's Carnival right there.
No thought at all. It's almost borderline insulting that he even thought that people would swallow this shit.
All right. We done? We done with 31? I think so.
I was done
So-
pretty early.
That's our review of 31. Please make sure to like, subscribe, etc., etc.